What's up, guys? I had an awesome Skype lesson last night. We were just doing some blues stuff. We're doing it in A, and we were up in the second position, but we're only dealing with a 5-note pattern. So this is where we are here. Our A pentatonic, that last 5-8, we slide that 8, that goes up to 10, and we actually have 10-8, second string, 10-8, and then this 9 right here. All right, now how we started was very simple. Now, keeping in the back of your mind that that is our A, that is our root note, okay? So, to build a little bit of tension, right, a little bit of call and response, which we'll go over again, that 8 and that 8 gives a little bit of tension, right? It's close, but not quite close enough. So if I were to play, right, that gives a little tension, and then that kind of resolves it a little bit. All right, so just keeping that in the back of your mind. Let's go forward, and we were just using these 3 notes. That was it. So that's how we started. That's our tension. That's our resolution, because we're ending on the root note, and we're just adding little tiny things to it. So we took the first lick. So that first note now, I want you to try those bends, because that is part of this. The little inflections are part of this lesson. We're not doing, all right, which is basically like this, except I'm bending up to that first note. That's not what we're doing. We're giving a little bit more of an attitude bend, right? So you just bend up and you cut it off. You even pick it a little harder. And then I let that 8 ride out a little longer. And then as soon as I start bending, I cut it off. So it's not really getting a full bend. And then resolve it. Now, if I want to do a call and response, which I do have a longer video on that, I would do, I'd end on that 8 right there. That builds up tension, and then, so now you have 2 different licks, almost the same thing. One is a tension, one is a resolution. All right, so your call and your response. And all we were doing from that point was just adding little things. We're doing, so I played that 10 3 times. Went to the 8, back to the 10, back to the 8, and then resolved it. It's not that difficult to add these little things and try to come up with your own licks. Now, if someone were to play a blues behind that, you can stay with those 3 notes, all right, forever, as long as you have in like kind of like in your tool belt, in your toolbox, you know, all of these little ways to make those phrasings come to life with your bending, maybe some slides, but really the note choice itself, it's unlimited. Now we took another lick, so let's go to this one. I love this one. We have 9 on the 3rd string, all right? So we're gonna slide into that 9. And then our first finger plays the 8 on the 2nd string, and then we resolve it back to the root note, to the 10th fret. So you have this. Now, if I want to do a call and response, I'm going to do this. Right? Give it a little attitude bend too, but that 8 is our tension note. So now, tension, resolve. Same thing. Right? You can play around with that all you want. Now, the reason that we were doing those 2 licks is now we can add them together. So then he started doing, right? And that's a much longer phrase, but we're taking it in little pieces. We know how to play in that area. We know how to play in that area. So now you can add the whole thing. So now if I have a blues, right? It becomes endless, all right? So I want you guys to try that, and maybe at the end, I'll throw some more licks in, all right? So pause the video there if you need to, and kind of go over that. It's basically how we can get that whole part of the second position pentatonic while knowing exactly what we're playing and why we're playing it, which is a huge part of improvisation. The next part of this lesson, and if it's moving quickly, like I said, pause it and go back. The next part of this lesson is we're gonna stay in A. We're actually gonna move this up 2 frets. So now we have 11 on the, if anybody's wondering what that is, I'm not farting, it's my couch. If we're gonna move up, so now we have 11, so just add 2 frets to everything. 11, 10, 12, 10, 12. What I love about this part of the lesson is the first lick that we did does not work anymore. If I play A, that does not work, all right? I mean, it sounds all right, it sounds pleasant, but that's not what we're going for. Why? Because now that is our root note, our A. So the first lick that we did, we went to this 11, same thing, we kind of slid into it. All right, try that. You slide into the 11, you have your 10 on your second string, the 12, and you're gonna bend it up a little bit. All right, that was lick number 1. So then to add the tension to it, because that now is our root note, we just play that 12, but bend it up twice. Don't let it go up and come down. See if you can cut that off, all right? That's the purpose of those attitude bends, is to bend them up and cut them down. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do, right? But that is more, that's a bit more musical. You're basically doing that, you're just adding the bend in. So unless you have a destination for that bend, you know, up to where that note would be, that C sharp, and then back again, and then to the A, don't, it just kind of sounds, it doesn't sound quite mature, okay? So this lick again, all right, 11, 10 on the second string, 12, 12, and then 11, 10, 12, 10, all right? And I actually give that a violent bend and come right back down. All right. Instead of, it doesn't work if you kind of like drift along. It almost sounds like you're like in space with like nothing to hang on to. All right. Try that. So you have. All right. It's different. It has a different sound. It's a very much a major sound. Okay. It has kind of like this nice major sound rather than. Does not. That develops that minor sound in the blues, all right? And the blues does go back and forth. So we did that a bunch. You can mess around with it as much as you want. I'm not changing anything, just playing those 3 notes. Now we moved forward and we did this, so check it out. We have 10 on the bottom. So now we did, so 10, 12, 10, and then here on our second string, 12, and then down to 10, all right? It's very nice sounding. Now for you guys that know, we can add the blues note in, all right? The blues note is our flat 5. You don't need to know why it's called that just yet, not for this lesson, but I wanna add this in. So we have our 10, we're gonna do 10, 11, 12, and then end with 12, and 10 on our second string. So you have bottom string, 10, 11, 12, and then on the 12th fret of the second string, and then the 10th fret to resolve it. All right, now you can mess around with that all you want. Right, 2 12s at the end, kind of gives it a little tension, and then that to resolve it. All right, endless, go backwards, which I love that sound. Right, I'm just doing 12, 11, 10, and then, all right, now what happens is, someone's doing a blues, now with this lick and this, you can now kind of navigate through all 5 of those notes, and actually 6 because I added that blues note in. So you have, right? And the reason that we were specifically targeting that part of the neck and that part of the pentatonic is it's identical. move it up 2 frets. But if you're gonna play one lick, it doesn't work moving it up 2 frets. All right, you gotta think, no, now this root note stays the same, the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So that is how I teach my leads, is a bit more musical, all right, and kind of understanding why. Otherwise, it just ends up sounding a bit, it's just a more mature way of playing. So now you can navigate and you kind of have a little bit of a minor sound and then a little bit of a major sound. All right, now just for shits and giggles here, let's let's do this last one. I want you to take the 12th fret of the 2nd string. All right, this is gonna be the last one we do. This is gonna be a little bit more advanced. I want you to bend it up, and then I want to see if you can get your pinky to play. This is very difficult. So you're doing 12 on the 2nd string, bend up, and then you're gonna sneak your pinky in there. Play the 12th fret of the bottom string. Play the 2nd string again, down, and then resolve it to the 10th fret, all right? See if you can get that. That's a huge slash thing. He loves that. All right, guys, try that. The purpose now is we took this section and then we worked on that. Then we took this and then we were able to put all of that together cohesively so we know what we're doing. Same with down here. We took those two. Now we should be able to play taking both positions and putting them together and not losing our purpose and not losing our root note and not losing our tension notes, all right? So try it. Biggest thing about this is leave space, leave phrasing space. Give a good amount of space. And see if you guys, even though you know where that resolution note is, see if you can still build tension by using the notes around it. Tension. All right, resolution. That is a huge lesson. Go through it nice and slow if you need to. For some of you advanced students, I'm sure that you'll get those concepts. And we'll continue. I want to do something a little bit more advanced for the next one. So thank you guys. Subscribe. Tell your friends, do whatever. I'm going to keep these free videos coming. Thanks, guys.